Welcome to Learner's Planet, my dear students. Students, in the previous session we discussed about some processes of separation of substances and the methods were threshing, winnowing, hand picking and sieving, right? And in this session we will continue with more methods of separation of substances. So let's start with this session with the methods of separation. Yes, so the first process is sedimentation. So can you see in this picture? You can see some difference in both the containers. In the first container you will see that some particles are suspended in a liquid. But after some time we can observe that the particles have settled at the bottom, right? And rest of the solution or rest of the liquid is clear, right? So what is this termed as? Yes, this is the process known as sedimentation. Now let's see that what is actually meant by sedimentation. Students, sedimentation or clarification is the process of letting suspended material settle by gravity. So by the law of gravity, all such impurities which are suspended in a liquid are attracted towards the bottom side of the container, and that is why all the particles settle at the bottom side, right? And these suspended particles in a liquid can be clay, silt, etc., which are present in the liquid, right? So sedimentation occurs when water erodes solid particles such as rocks or corals, and then the resulting particles settle on inanimate surface within the water, right? And these surfaces could include large rocks or the body of the water's floor, and after some time this sediment can form its own surface, right? As you can see in the container, that sediments form their own surface and then a clear liquid is obtained, right? So the process of separating insoluble solids suspended in a liquid by allowing them to settle down is called as sedimentation, right? These are the sediments and they settle down, and that is why this process is known as sedimentation. Means the particles will sediment themselves, they will form its own surface if we will left the container in which the particles are suspended in a liquid undisturbed for some time, right? And they will settle down. So this process is called as sedimentation, right? Now let's see some of the examples of sedimentation. Yes, for example, mud settles down when muddy water is kept for a long time. For example, like tiny pieces of straw, leaves and other lighter impurities which are present in the muddy water float at the surface of the muddy water if we left it undisturbed for some time. And that is why the impurities which settle down, or we can say the impurities which settle down in this muddy water is known as sediment, or the process is called as sedimentation, and rest of the lighter impurities float at the surface of the water, and the water which then contains these impurities is then poured out and discarded. So sedimentation, after sedimentation one more process is followed in which the water will contain these impurities and then it is poured out and discarded by that process. So what is that process called as? Let's discuss about that process. Yes, before moving on to next process, we will see some of the other terms which are related to sedimentation. Yes, the solid particles that settle down during sedimentation process are called sediments, which we discussed, which we saw in the container, that they form their own surface. And the liquid, the clear solution which we saw in the container, the clear liquid above the sediments is called supernatant, right? Students, in that container we saw that a clear solution was obtained, a clear liquid was observed, right? But actually it also contains some lighter materials, some other lighter materials such as rocks, such as tiny leaves, etc., right? So such things which are lighter in weight are floating on the surface of the water, like we took an example of a muddy water, right? So whatever the heavier materials will be there, they will sediment at the bottom, and that's why they are known as sediments. And the liquid which contains the other lighter impurities above the sediments is called supernatant, and this whole process is known as sedimentation. Let's discuss about one more example. Students, have you seen pulses being washed in your home? Definitely. When pulses are kept in a bowl of water, they settle down as they are heavy. But dirt, insects or tiny pieces of straw and other lighter impurities do not settle down. They dissolve in water or they float at the top of the surface of water. So this is also termed as sedimentation, right? So now let's move on to the next process. Yes, the next process in which the water is present with the lighter impurities is then poured and discarded. But how is it discarded? That process is known as decantation. So actually, how can we define decantation? Yes, the process of pouring out the clear upper liquid without disturbing the sediments is called decantation. As you can see here in this picture, this is self-explainable. As we can see that this was the container in which we left the container undisturbed for some time when the particles were suspended in the liquid, right? So here we can see that the sediments settle down at the bottom of the container, and when they settle down, they are then poured and discarded to another container or another beaker, right? And this process of pouring out this clear upper liquid without disturbing these sediments which are present at the bottom is termed as decantation. Means in the decantation process, these sediments will not be poured into another beaker. They will remain at the bottom only, and the rest of the liquid, the rest of the clear part will be discarded and poured to another container. So this process is termed as decantation. Means we are decanting the liquid out from one container to another container. So it is known as decantation, right? So let's see one example of this process. Yes, students. So here is an example of sand and water. Yes, here the sand and water are mixed first, and then they are kept undisturbed for some time. And then after the sediments settle at the bottom and the clear liquid is obtained, it is then separated by leaving the mixture undisturbed for some time by the process of sedimentation and decantation, right? So whatever I said, that is the process possible by decantation and sedimentation, alright, because the sand particles will settle down as they are heavier, and the water which will mix with the sand particles and the lighter impurities will be collected, or it will float at this surface, which is also known as supernatant, right? So these are the sediments which are obtained after mixing sand and water, and the heavier particles will settle down and the lighter particles will remain in the water. So the solution or the liquid which we have obtained after the settling down of the sediments is known as supernatant. Alright, so this is one such example which finally explains the sedimentation and decantation. Alright, so now let's move on to the next process other than sedimentation and decantation. Why we have to move on to next process? Because by sedimentation and decantation we cannot obtain pure water, or we cannot obtain the pure liquid, and that is why we need some other process also which can remove the impurities, the lighter impurities which are present in the water, right? And because of this we have to move on to the next process. We have to learn next process which is known as filtration. So students, what is meant by filtration? Yes, it is the process by which the two substances will be an insoluble solid. Insoluble means which will not be solubilized in water and which will not dissolve in water, and the second substance is a liquid, right? So the process by which the two substances are separated by passing the mixture of these two substances through a filtering device is called filtration. As you can see here, this acts as a filtering device, right? And this insoluble solid and liquid are passed through this filtering device. They are the mixture which is passed through this filtering device, and after some time we can see that we have obtained the filtered liquid, which is also termed as filtrate. So we obtain filtrate through the process of filtration. So this is one such process which is different from sedimentation and decantation, because in both the processes, we cannot obtain the purified form of liquid, and that is why this process is carried out in which we can obtain the filtrate. That means filtered water, right? Which is 99%, or we can say that 80 to 90% it is in the purified form. So it is the better process than sedimentation and decantation, right? So always remember that the process by which two substances are separated by passing the mixture through a filtering device is called filtration. Let's study more about filtration. Yes, filtration is commonly used in our homes. For example, after preparing tea, we filter out the tea leaves using a strainer, right? Because the strainer is a kind of thing which has pores in it, and it can filter these tea leaves and we can obtain tea from it. Then filtration is also done to remove pulp from the fresh fruit juice. It is also used to separate the mixture of salt and sand, and even it is also used if we add enough water to this salt and sand mixture. Then what will happen? The salt will dissolve in the water, but sand will not dissolve because of their properties, right? So in this way, filtration process is used in many such methods. Many such processes, right? So we discussed about the uses of the filtration method. Now let's see how this filtration method is actually carried out. Yes, during filtration, the insoluble solid is retained in the filtering device, right? Whereas the liquid passes through it, because liquid is such a property, it will pass through the pores, right? And rest of the insoluble solid, which are heavier, or we can say which are lighter or heavier, either they are light or either they are heavy. The solid will be retained in the filtering device and the liquid will pass through it, as we saw in the picture, right? So it is important that the particles of the insoluble solid are bigger than the holes in the filtering device. Then only they will be able to pass through this filtering device, right? So it is very important that the particles of the insoluble solid are bigger than the holes in the filtering device for them to be retained in it. And that is why the insoluble solid will retain in the filtering device, whereas the liquid will pass through it. So what is actually a filtering device? What acts as a filtering device over here? In the filtration process, a filter paper acts as a filtering device that has very fine pores in it, and that is why the liquid is able to pass through these fine pores and rest of the solid remains, or it gets retained in the filtering device, right? So I hope you are clear with this filtration process. Let's move on to another process, and that is evaporation. As you know, students, that changing of a liquid into gaseous form is termed as evaporation. Means, for example, if we take the best ever example is the water. Water is a liquid, and if we will heat it, so what will happen if we will boil it, if we will heat it? So it will be converted into a gaseous form. Means the water will convert into another form known as steam or water vapor, and this is the gaseous form. Water vapor is a gaseous form, steam is a gaseous form. So the changing of a water into water vapor or steam, or we can say a changing of a liquid form into gaseous form, is termed as evaporation, right? So in this method, the mixture is heated and the liquid part of the mixture evaporates and escapes, leaving the solid part behind, right? So rest of the solid part or the solid materials will remain in the liquid, and will remain in the container, and the liquid part of the mixture will evaporate and it will escape out of it, right? As you can see here in this picture, this is a picture of a sea. What happens in the water cycle, students? Do you remember the water cycle? Just try to recall that cycle. What happens in the cycle? Yes, the sea water evaporates, right? And it forms cloud, and then it falls down as in the form of rain. And again, the sea water gets filled up by the rainwater, and then after that, it again evaporates. So this cycle just goes on. So this is a picture of a sea water in which the water evaporates by the heat, by the sunlight, and that is why this process of evaporation of water, in which the water evaporates, is known as evaporation, right? And we can also discuss some of the other examples. A mixture of common salt and water, right? If we will mix common salt and water, it can also be separated by the process of evaporation, because sea water, as you can see, that sea water has salt dissolved in it, right? You know that sea water is salty. That means salt is present in it, salt is dissolved in it. So to obtain salt, sea water is collected in the shallow pits and it is allowed to stand for some time, because of which the salt gets settled down and the liquid will be entered after some time. So the sun's heat evaporates the water, and salt which is left behind is collected, and in this way we obtain salt. In fact, a common salt and water mixture can also be separated by the process of evaporation, right? So even after this evaporation process, one such process is very much important before consuming salt. So always remember that before the salt is ready for consumption, it has to go through purification process, because the salt which we have obtained after the process of evaporation from seawater, it is not so purified form, it is still containing impurities. So it has to go through purification process in which the salt will be purified, and this purified salt is then sold in the market, right? So after that only we can consume salt. Alright, so I hope that this process is also clear to you, students. Let's move on to the next interesting process. Yes, condensation. Students, you know that when matter changes from its gaseous state into its liquid state, it is termed as condensation. Means all the gaseous state matter will be condensed, it will combine and it will be converted into liquid state, and that is why it is termed as condensation. So condensation is actually the opposite of evaporation, and it is considered to be the only process that brings about the change in the physical state, because it is changing from gaseous state to liquid state, and that is why it is considered as the change in the physical state, right? So we can say that condensation is the opposite of evaporation, because evaporation is the change of the liquid to gaseous state and condensation is gaseous to liquid state. Alright. So actually in nature, water vapor in the air condenses to form its liquid form. Let's see that which liquid form it forms. Yes, it forms the dew. In nature, water vapor in the air condenses to form its liquid form. This is the best example. The best example we can see is on the leaves of the plants, and that too in the winter morning. So in winter mornings, we can observe, if you will notice the leaves of the plants, what can you see, what can you conclude, what can you observe? That there are some liquid droplets on the leaves. And how is this possible? This is possible because of the process of condensation, because the water vapor which is present in the atmosphere or in the air, it condenses to form its liquid form and it falls on the leaves of the plants, and that is why you can see the dew, right? So this is the best example in which you can see the process of conversion of water vapor into liquid form. And condensation takes place only when water vapor hits a cold surface. As you can see here in this picture, this is a picture of such a glass in which the water is kept, and because of this we can see that outside the surface of this glass we can see the water vapor is now converting into liquid form. Even you can experiment at your home. If you take cold water, if you pour cold water in a glass, then after some time, just leave it at the room temperature. After some time, you can see the liquid or the water droplets outside the surface of the glass, and this is actually the process of condensation. So this will explain this is the best example of understanding condensation. Alright. So students, I hope that you are clear with all such processes, and now we will continue this lesson in the next session with more processes or with another topic known as solution and solubility. Right? Till then, keep learning, keep enjoying.